Hello, welcome to Body, Mind, and Spirit Meditations from the Soul. As we wrap up this Advent season, anticipating Emmanuel, God with us, the Christ child coming on Christmas Day, we have been practicing wellness through drawing near to God, drawing near to one another, and drawing near within ourselves in body, mind, and spirit. As we continue this practice, I invite you into a time of grounding and centering in preparation for our time today as we draw near. Let us close our eyes or soften our gaze and feel the breath moving in and out. Feeling into the soles of your feet, feeling the ground underneath you, noticing the texture. Noticing if it's soft carpet or hard wood under your feet. Noticing the temperature. Is it warm or is it cool? And lift your toes up, spread them out. Wiggle them a little bit and place them back down on the ground. Feeling into all four corners of your feet. And then moving up the legs, feel the bend in your knees. Maybe take your palms and just kind of rub your knees with the palms of your hands in circles. Moving up the legs, just pressing into your thighs, feeling your thighs and your seat as they rest into the chair. Letting go of any tension. And then moving up the spine, feel the spine as it lengthens, shoulders back and down. And visualize a string pulling up from the top of your head, lengthening your spine a little bit more and bringing your head lifted up a little more so that you're sitting up nice and tall. Feeling the breath moving in and out, maybe a little deeper now that our lungs have room to expand and contract. Hear these words from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Let us meditate for a moment on these words from the scriptures. In our devotional for today, Kaji Dosa says, "Someone once interpreted the scriptures to teach me faith is mostly not about you." This was a curious proclamation to me, since I had heard so much, even from Jesus, about ye of little faith. The ones of little faith seemed to doubt the goodness of God, tried to stand in the way of God's progress. I read Jesus' words and wanted to be of big faith instead. So I willed myself to do faith bigly, until I found myself in places of doubt, wondering why God would let certain things happen. Until I sat in church and heard the call to confession and realized that I was doing the very things for which we asked forgiveness. My bigly approach to faith was not working. Instead, the faith I needed might be as tiny as, in the words of Jesus, a mustard seed. That was when it came to me. And later I would see that many theologians had come to the same conclusion. Faith belongs to God. Faith is a gift. Faith is grace. It is this thing that connects us to the eternal in moments we could not have summoned on our own. Faith is not something that we will ourselves to have. It is given to us freely from the one who has everything to give. We do not will ourselves to do faith bigly. Meanwhile, the experience of faith is everything but passive. This is why I love this passage from Hebrews 11. My basic rubric for understanding a life of faith comes from this one line: faith is God's. Hope is ours. Conviction is God's. The world of the unseen is ours. God does the hard parts. God gives us faith and conviction and assurance. Meanwhile, we do what we can to summon hope. We live in the world with so many things that we cannot see, nor can we anticipate. Hebrews 11 gives us a template for responding to this. Draw on the faith that God gives. If you cannot summon it, it's not your fault, because faith comes from God, not from you. And since faith comes from God, when you cannot conjure a sense of assurance, then that is not your fault. It's not your fault either. All you can do is the other part: hope. You can try to orient yourself to a sense of possibility in the face of despair or uncertainty. God takes care of the rest, whether you believe this or not. Let let us pause for a moment to meditate on these words. I am struck by the lines in this devotion for today, this rubric, that faith is God's, hope is ours, conviction is God's. That God takes care of the rest, whether we believe this or not. I have been watching a lot of Christmas movies, and there's this theme throughout all of the Santa Claus type movies that belief is what makes Santa real, or belief is what makes the sleigh go, or belief is it's the thing that makes it the magic happen, right? And isn't it wonderful that God is greater than that? That belief is not a part of what makes God. That belief is not even necessary for faith. That belief is not necessary for conviction. That all we're responsible for is hope. And God takes care of the rest. And I've been thinking about how much movement helps us to remember important things. When we can bring movement into something, we're more likely to remember it. And I think it's so important that we remember, especially in times that are hard, in times when it's easy to remember, it's easy to forget that God is near. It's so important to remember that faith is God's, hope is ours, and conviction is God's. And so I was trying to think of how can we embody this? Like, what is there, like a little movement we can do to help us remember that? And I always come back to sun salutations because they are just in me. And so I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, opening your arms, raising them up toward the sky. Faith is God's. Lift them up as high as you can. Maybe even bring your hands together. As we bring them back down, exhaling around, hope is ours. Bringing our hands to our heart. Inhaling, opening up again. Conviction is God's. As we exhale, hope is ours. God, give me faith, assurance. Help me in the practice of hope. Show me your light when I cannot see it. Let's do that together. God, give me faith, assurance. Help me